Hey, welcome to the Robbins Regional Route. Welcome to the Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all your Houston County news. I'm Megan Western. Each week we're taking you through what's happening in Houston County, Warner Robins, Robins Air Force Base, and your very own neighborhood. We are now in the second week of a federal government shutdown. As federal workers receive their paychecks, they'll see some days missing from their pay. Elizabeth Hunter has the details.
September 21st through October 4th. That pay period for federal employees covers the days when the shutdown hit.
How long is this going to happen? What does this look like in the long run?
Workers will get a partial paycheck Friday. Only the days in October will not be included. But Bailey Dodaro is already thinking ahead to the next pay period, when no money will come.
What's this next one? Are we getting paid on the 15th? I'm unsure.
Dodaro is a Navy veteran and her husband is active duty Air Force. She says they are blessed to have two incomes, so they will be okay for a while longer. But she knows others aren't as lucky.
Those moms are losing sleep at night and are nervous and, am I going to be able to pay my house bill? What about my car payment? Things like that, like your everyday necessities.
Many Central Georgia businesses are stepping up to help.
We are aware of some of our members are being adversely affected by the government shutdown.
Marian McLemore is a vice president at Flint Energies. She says they are working on a case-by-case basis with each client who reaches out for help about unpaid bills.
The last time that we experienced a government shutdown, I believe, was in 2019, and that shutdown lasted for 35 days, and we did the same thing. We helped on a case-by-case basis.
McLemore says as a Central Georgia business, they understand how hard the shutdown hits.
I mean, it's affecting our friends and neighbors, family, and so it feels good to be able to help.
In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
The Flint Energies isn't the only one offering help. Warner Robins has decided to delay utility payments and water shutoffs for federal workers who reach out to them. Now, local businesses are helping out too. For many people, working out can be an outlet to relieve stress. But when money runs tight, people usually have to drop their gym memberships first. Elizabeth Hunter talked to several businesses that are offering a helping hand.
We know it is something that's impacting a countless number of people in our area.
Rachel Cunningham owns Homegrown Yoga. She says most of her clients or their spouses work on Robins Air Force Base, so she heard how the shutdown was impacting them and decided to make a change.
I was talking to fellow teachers and some people in class, and so many of them, I would say like 50% of them, were being impacted by the government closure.
As long as the shutdown lasts, Homegrown Yoga will offer free classes to members who are federal workers and $5 classes to other federal workers. Cunningham isn't the only business owner who wants to help.
This is something that my wife and I, Stephanie, feel very, very blessed about, giving back to not only just the community, but the federal workers, military.
Enrique Ramon owns 4 Fitco Health Clubs in Central Georgia. His Perry, Bon Air, Warner Robins, and Macon locations are all offering discounts to federal workers.
So they can come in, sign in as a guest, pay the $5 and enjoy everything that the gym has to offer.
All workers need to do is bring in their government ID and they can use the gym for $5. Ramon says they are also waiving their membership startup fees. Orange Theory in Warner Robins is also offering a discount, a 2-week unlimited pass for $50. In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Warner Robins Parks and Recreation Department say they're not offering any discounts for classes at the North Houston Sports Complex, but they will consider applying some if the shutdown continues. Now, right now, Georgia candidates are sounding the alarm on the shutdown and what it means for voters. Former Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan stopped in Warner Robins to highlight the issues in Washington and how he'd help here at home.
We got a lot of work to do. The federal government is not working well with anybody, especially those that are in need here in Georgia. We've got to do better, and we've got to be creative as a state, as governor. I'm going to stay laser focused on affordability issues, healthcare issues, and Donald Trump issues.
Duncan also addressed access to health care in rural communities. Georgia could lose billions in revenue from cutting Affordable Care Act subsidies. Duncan is running as a Democrat and hopes that his party affiliation swap could sway voters. And speaking of elections, the Perry mayoral race has been a hot election topic in Houston County. Incumbent Randall Walker is facing newcomer Christopher Smith. Elizabeth Hunter sat down with both candidates to hear their views on key city issues.
The stage is set.
Christopher Smith.
Randall Walker.
Both candidates say they are turning their focus to issues that matter most to the people of Perry.
Perry's growing.
On the growth here in Perry.
Growth is the million-dollar topic, and with growth comes necessary upgrades in infrastructure. Smith says the city needs to pause the growth so its roads can get up to speed.
That's actually part of the whole pumping the brakes thing, is if you did that, you would give the city time to catch up and modernize.
Walker says he already is working to address infrastructure needs by updating roads for increased traffic flow and opening a new wastewater treatment plant in 2026.
The growth was coming, whether we were ready for it or not, and we felt like it was really critical that we get prepared for that.
Smith says although he wants to pause growth, he wants to address the lack of parking downtown so they can host more large events.
We still need to forward think and plan so that we can maintain the attractiveness of these events.
Walker says he has no plans to change downtown.
It is the heart and soul of the city of Perry, and we need to protect that asset.
When asked about how they would keep their decisions in office transparent to the public, the candidate said this.
Individually telling people, hey, go to the meetings if you have an issue.
To contact us, and we'll be glad to talk with them and provide them the information.
In Perry, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Early voting will open for all Georgia elections this coming Tuesday, October the 14th. That includes the mayoral race in Warner Robins, where incumbent Mayor LaRhonda Patrick faces challenger Fabian Velasquez. And right now we're continuing our coverage of a gang and racketeering investigation. It brought state, local, and federal agencies to locations across Warner Robins. Throughout the day, officers served search warrants at multiple homes, including one on Briarwood Drive. That's where Jasmine Lee talked with neighbors about what they saw that Wednesday.
You can see how quiet Briarwood Drive is right now, but earlier there were several agencies moving in and out of this home right here. One man who's lived here for decades told me it's hard to believe what's happening in his neighborhood.
Having a raid in your neighborhood is unsettling. It's not the most comforting.
This was the scene on Briarwood Drive where police say today's coordinated operation targeted alleged gang and racketeering activity. The GBI, Houston County Sheriff's Office, and U.S. Marshals helped serve search warrants at different places across the city.
It's shocking is what it is.
But Randall Duckworth says the warning signs have been growing in recent years. He's lived on Briarwood Drive for 50 years.
Over the years, you see more and more people creeping in. Here lately, I've had 2 people try to get in my cars.
While officials have not confirmed how many people were arrested or what charges may be filed, I saw officers lead a woman from this home in handcuffs, and a red pickup truck was towed from the scene. Duckworth says he hopes what happened here sparks something he's been asking for a long time.
More police patrols. We never see police patrols. And, you know, I understand this is Houston County's big growing. I've never seen a police patrol down here, and I think that would help a lot.
Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
Now we know a little bit more about that investigation. Authorities say 28 people are behind bars after the year-long investigation into a major narcotics ring. Jasmine Lee sat down with District Attorney Eric Edwards, who says this is one of the largest operations he's ever led.
Even after seeing officers swarm this street just a day ago, neighbors I spoke with say they still feel safe here. Many tell me they're relieved to see police cracking down in their community.
We don't want our people in Houston County dropping dead because of ingesting illegal narcotic.
District Attorney Eric Edwards says the goal was clear: stop the flow of drugs in Houston County before it cost more lives. Wednesday's raid led to 28 arrests, all connected to a gang-driven drug operation in Warner Robins.
There had been complaints from people in the neighborhood, and it really got them looking at what was going on over there.
The investigation started in 2024 after neighbors spoke up about suspicious activity. After a year-long investigation, police gathered enough information to serve warrants at multiple locations where they found drugs like marijuana, meth, and cocaine. But for some neighbors, the bust came as a surprise.
The perspective in the neighborhood hasn't changed. I mean, I still feel safe here.
Ryan Quaid lives just a few houses away from one of the homes raided. He moved to this neighborhood 6 months ago with his family. He says from what he's seen, the streets have always been quiet.
Individual actions don't predict like anyone's, whether it's safety or anything like that, you know? And so it's like, I'm glad to see that people were doing their job and helping keep the community safe at least.
Edwards calls it one of the most extensive operations he's handled. He says it's just one step in a larger effort to keep dangerous drugs off Houston County streets.
It's been a huge focus of all of our local law enforcement. Overdose deaths are something that plagues the entire country.
Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
DA Edwards and local law enforcement will hold a news conference at 10 a.m. on Monday, October the 13th. It'll be at the Law Enforcement Center in Warner Robins. Of course, you can watch it live on that Monday on 13 WMAZ+. And Emory has laid out their treatment plan for their new locations in Warner Robins and Perry. Back in June, Emory integrated with Houston Healthcare. In the last 3 months since, Emory started upping the dosage to get these locations on track to recovery. Elizabeth Hunter heard from CEO Kelvin Splain about what their main focuses are and how much it's costing to make sure Houston County's healthcare system also has good financial health.
$150 million. That's what Emory will pay to cure Houston Healthcare.
We knew that coming in that we were going to have to, inject a fair amount of investment.
Kevin Splain, CEO of Emory Hospital Warner Robins and Perry, says they did not realize how much Houston Healthcare was struggling before they stepped in.
Houston Healthcare had been losing over $35 million a year per year for at least 5 years.
Splain says after realizing this, they turned their focus to 3 main issues. The first was ambulance response time.
That the response times, were getting to the point in which complaints were coming from the community, complaints were coming from first responders, so much so that there was the belief that the state was going to launch an investigation.
Splain says in the last 3 months, they have already seen a decrease in the response times. The second goal was infrastructure. Splain says that includes updating elevators, air conditioning units, and emergency rooms, and that's just a start.
We will be spending at least $12 to $15 million a year in infrastructure.
The last focus is a $60 million data system called Epic. Epic is what the Emory hospitals in Atlanta use for their electronic health records. Splain says it's a small price to pay to get all their locations on the same page. Warner Robins Mayor LaRonda Patrick agrees.
The hospital here is a lifeline. We cannot be a thriving community without a great healthcare system.
In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
After months of delays and setbacks, Warner Robins is now just days away from opening its first full-service homeless shelter. Jasmine Lee got a sneak peek inside and shows you how this community-built facility is designed to do much more than just provide a place to sleep.
It's just amazing to see where we've come, and we're about ready to open it up.
After years of planning, delays, and community effort, Warner Robins' first homeless shelter is now a reality.
We had mold issues, we got all that figured out and all, and this is where we're at today.
Brian Wise has been there through every delay, every setback. Now he's ready to see people walk through these doors. The shelter will provide space for 70 people. Wise told me each person will be paired with a caseworker to help them work toward jobs, housing, and stability.
We're going to eventually have a 90-day program down here, but we're going to start off as like a day shelter and all. And we will be open this winter as a woman's shelter, like when it gets below 32.
Beyond the bed, each individual will have access to job training, showers, a clothing closet, even help building resumes. Wise says this place isn't just about shelter, it's about restarting lives.
So will meals be provided to everyone in the community, or is it just for people that's staying here?
No, it's going to be for the community. I mean, people in need, that's who we're going to serve to. If they need a meal, we're going to not turn them away, we're going to feed them.
And they'll have the support to do just that, thanks to a partnership with Purdue Chicken, who's committed to donating meat for as long as it's needed.
And this room is set up for a cafeteria.
Mayor LaRonda Patrick calls Haven Hope House the shelter the community built. While the city provided seed money, dozens of local groups stepped in to finish the job, to finish the building, and start rebuilding lives.
Living on their own, paying their own rent, working and staying on payroll, and not backsliding to whatever issue got them to this place. Getting therapy, their medical treatment, their prescriptions.
That transformation starts in just days when the doors to Haven Hope House finally open. Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
The official ribbon cutting for Haven Hope House is set for Friday, October 17th at 10 in the morning. Now, the Warner Robins Parks and Rec Department is getting ready for some major improvements as well. The city allocated $3 million in its 2026 budget to fund renovations and upgrades across Warner Robins parks. City leaders say it's about building for the future. The Parks and Recreation Department is starting with major renovations at Simpsons and Peavy Park. They're updating ballparks and lighting and restrooms. Over at the International City Golf Course, crews are preparing for new irrigation systems to preserve the course. Director President Pooster says the investment is just phase one of a larger push to bring in tournaments, teams, and tourism.
We're really excited, from the mayor and the council to the city administrator. We're ready to really just take flight with the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Services Department. And City of Warner Robins, we're excited to move into the future, and we're going to see a lot of new things in the near future.
Construction at the two parks is expected to open or start sometime next spring or summer. The renovated park opening will happen sometime in the fall. And change is coming to Warner Robins, and this week the city is taking a bold step to make it all happen. A decades-old site coming down as part of a major push to reinvent the heart of the city and create a downtown. It's one of just many demolitions the city has done in the last year. One of the latest, a more than 8,000 square foot building at 401 North Commercial Circle. In March, the city demolished their 6th building on South Davis Drive in Commercial Circle. And in May of 2024, crews tore down the Car Source store on Watson Boulevard. Now another demolition and another step in Operation Reawaken is underway. Jasmine Lee has more from Commercial Circle with this transformation that's starting to take shape.
Bricks, dust, and decades of delay all coming down in a matter of seconds. In Warner Robins, this isn't just a demolition, it's a reset button. And for many here, it's a moment they've waited a lifetime to see.
Now it's time for revitalization.
William Carey has called this city home since 1966. He remembers when Commercial Circle was a town center, and he's hoping to see it come back to life.
This has been a city project for many years, but it hasn't been able to happen until this mayor came along and pushed through and made it a reality.
The project is called Operation Reawaken, part of a multi-million-dollar plan to transform 17 acres into a walkable, livable, workable downtown. The vision: retail on the ground floor, homes and offices above, with green spaces and gathering spots in between.
It just shows that we're not just talking about things, we're getting the work done.
Mayor LaRonda Patrick says the city now owns nearly 90% of the land in this area, making this demolition just the first step in a long-awaited build-out. The rest, she hopes to see led by local investors and a master developer to be selected next year.
A lot of the spaces out here that go up vertically, the top will be residential. So we want to see apartments, condos, which are apartments that people actually own, townhomes. There's so many things that can come.
The city hopes to break ground on the first construction within 2 years. City leaders say this won't be the last demolition. They're planning to clear even more space around Commercial Circle as they move closer to selecting a master developer next year. And imagine stepping into the shower only to find the water pressure so low you can barely get wet, or seeing your water bill climb higher and higher while water is literally running down the street. People in one Warner Robins neighborhood say that's been their reality for weeks now. As Hunter King reports, one neighbor says they're dealing with a frustrating water leak, and the city just isn't listening.
Well, you can see water right here trickling out, and it's not from anybody's sprinklers, but from a city water line that sprung a slow and steady leak. And for neighbors here in the area, it's not just a drip in the road, it's a real drain on their water pressure. They say they've tried to tap into help from the city, but so far the solution's been anything but quick.
Darren Patterson has lived on Sonia Drive for 17 years, and he says water problems have never been this frustrating.
My house used to have 56 PSI. Now I have 40 PSI.
Patterson, a former plumber, says the pressure drop is caused by this persistent leak at Sonia and Tyree Streets.
I mean, there's dangers to it, and there's health issues also.
Patterson says the slow, steady flow is saturating the ground, causing the asphalt to crack and dip. He's worried that could lead to a sinkhole. He also points to the health hazard, worried about bacteria seeping into the main water supply. And while the water is spilling out onto the street, his water bill climbs.
Just continually going up, but we can't get anybody to fix this.
The city did go out after we called and identified what they say is a small leak on a fire hydrant, a leak they say had not been flagged. However, the leak we saw with Patterson is about 20 feet from the fire hydrant, slowly bubbling up through the asphalt. Patterson says he doesn't want anyone to get in trouble, he just wants the problem solved. Reporting in Warner Robins, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, as Under G. Patterson said, the leak had been ongoing for weeks. After we contacted the city on Friday, they sent a crew out to observe the area, but repairs have not actually started. And if you're looking for some high-flying fun at the fair, look no further than the Disconnected Canine Frisbee Dog Show. Trainer Lawrence Frederick says he worked for over a decade to bring his team to the big stage.
The Georgia National Fair is one of the most highly recognized fairs in the country. I mean, you drive by these grounds, and for like almost 19 years, I wanted to be in this fair and perform. And it took us that long to sell the concept of the show, which is normally what happens to us. But once we get in a fair, then it's hard to get out of it.
Has been around since 1997, and Frederick has been in the game for over 3 decades. At the heart of the fairgrounds, a crowd gathered today to watch 3 talented canine performers take to the air Maverick, an Australian Shepherd, Moaning Myrtle, a Pit Bull mix, and Frisbee Dog, a Moody, all showing off their speed, agility, and aerial skills in an action-packed Frisbee routine.
I really liked the dog Myrtle that showed on. It was very funny, it gave me some laughs. But yeah, the skipping tricks, I like those the best. They were kind of unbelievable to me.
Now, this marks the 3rd year the team has performed at the Georgia National Fair. In Central Georgia, Future Farmers of America students showed off their animals during the first weekend of the fair. Look at their fall spirit there. From a classic ghost costume to some film-inspired costumes, the dairy competition showed up and really showed out, giving students a great opportunity to build their confidence and, of course, have some fun showing off their animals.
Anytime we can showcase dairy animals and the dairy industry in the state of Georgia, anywhere, this is a way to do it. We see more people here at the Georgia National Fair because there are thousands of people that come through these barns every day.
And check this out. Here is Robinson's pig racing. Look at those pigs go. We spoke with Randall Ross, the swine master, who's been racing pigs for 41 years. Their pigs come from Lake City, Florida, and this marks the 36th year the group has put on swine racing shows at the fair. 8 pigs, including Potbelly, Ossabaw Island, and Cunookan breeds, compete in 4 exciting races, 2 swimming and 2 on the track. Ross gave us some insight on how the pigs get motivated before the race.
Pigs have a sweet tooth like you wouldn't believe, and they love Oreo cookies. So we put an Oreo cookie into the track, and the pigs know the first one around there is going to get the cookie.
Now, these pig races happen every day at the fair, so if you want to catch these races for yourself, make your way over to the fairgrounds before the fair ends on the 12th. And 2 new stars stole the show at the Georgia National Fair, and they're covered in fur. Ross and Jack, a pair of adorable calves, made their grand entrances inside the Georgia Grown building. Fairgoers crowded in for photos and a chance to welcome the new arrivals. Since the fair kicked off last week, 15 calves have been born, and visitors even get to help name them, turning it into a true community celebration. Georgia's Agriculture Commissioner Tyler Harper joined the fun, honoring both the newborns and the state's farming heritage.
These are 2 of the 15 calves that we've had since the fair opened last Thursday, and we'll continue to do this throughout the fair all the way until Sunday. So we just have a lot of excitement here telling the story of Georgia agriculture. That's what the Georgia Grown building is all about.
Now take a look at the corn dog eating competition winner over at the fair. James Dean from Warner Robins took over the show, eating 4 corn dogs and 3 mini funnel cakes in 1 minute. This was the first time the fair held this competition. Now, of course, it was a busy week over in Perry as hundreds gathered for the first Saturday over at the 36th Annual Georgia National Fair. We'll take you inside the fair's heart, where Georgia is honoring its agriculture industry.
Under the glow of the fairgrounds, Georgia's story comes alive. It's written in dirt, sweat, and soil, and every fall, the Georgia National Fair becomes its stage. Governor Brian Kemp stopped by Thursday to remind fairgoers that agriculture isn't just Georgia's history, it's still its backbone.
Our state, just like this country, has deep roots in agriculture. It is not only Georgia's #1 industry, It is an industry that impacts all others and built America.
For dairy farmers like Carol Williams from Morgan County, that message hits home. Generations of early mornings and a family legacy poured into every gallon.
Anytime we can showcase dairy animals and the dairy industry in the state of Georgia, anywhere, this is a way to do it. There are thousands of people that come through these barns every day. Some of them have never seen a dairy cow. Some of them have no idea where their milk comes from.
Milking demonstrations run several times a day, giving fairgoers a front row seat to Georgia agriculture in action.
So we try and reach the public to just say, hey, look, this is where your food comes from. It's not coming off. Yes, you get it off the shelf in a grocery store, but it comes from an animal.
Agriculture has shaped the rhythm of this state for generations. It drives more than $70 billion in Georgia's economy and fuels hundreds of thousands of jobs. The fair honors that and the everyday magic, like a teenager's first ribbon or a child meeting a cow for the very first time.
I enjoy meeting the people, I really do, and enjoy answering their questions and letting kids touch a heifer and say, she feels warm. Once they wander down into the barns, then they really have a good time in the barns.
Governor Kim says agriculture will anchor Georgia's America's 250th celebration, with fairs like this one showcasing what makes the state unique. The Georgia National Fair, again, will run through October the 12th. Now, before we let you go, here are some events happening across the Robbins region right now. If your kids can't wait until the 31st to show off their Halloween costumes, head on over to Warner Robbins. The Trunk or Treat and Food Truck Roundup is happening Thursday, October 16th. Enjoy inflatables, face painting, and AI gaming trucks, plus 20 food trucks to choose from. Put on your best costume. The fun happens from 5 to 9 p.m. And this spooky season, you can catch the Perry Players rendition of The Addams Family, a musical comedy. Shows happen from the 16th through the 26th. Most night shows start at 7:30. Adult tickets are $25. Shows are happening over at the Perry Players Theater at 909 Main Street in Perry. Get your running shoes ready too. The Warner Robbins Police Department hosting their annual Glow Run 5K. It's happening over at Freedom Field on Saturday, October 18th. The event starts at 8, but the races take off at 8, or the event starts at 6. The races take off at 8. They'll provide all the glow-in-the-dark bracelets and bands. It's $30 for adults, $20 for kids 12 and under. That same day, Warner Robbins Parks and Rec is inviting teens out to the Lake Joy Trails of Terror. It's open to ages 12 to 18 and includes admission to the haunted trail plus transportation. To help calm your nerves after, they'll even serve ice cream. The fun runs from 7 to 10 that night with pickup over at the North Houston Sports Complex. It costs $38 for people who live in the city, $48 for those who live in the county. Over in Centerville, you can enjoy vendors, music, food, and more during their fall festival. It's over at Center Park on October the 18th. The fun is from 10 in the morning until 5 p.m. Well, that's a wrap on what's happening throughout the Robbins region this week. If you have a Houston County story you want to share with us, go ahead and email us at news@13wmaz.com. Make sure you keep coming back each and every week to get all the Houston County news and the stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us.